All right. So welcome back, you curious chickens. Now we are here at the final chapter, chapter 8 of the Mandalorian. So this is definitely wrapping up everything. Very excited about this one. This is very cool. A lot was going on with this. And so we just want to get right into it. Once again, I've got my good buddy Adam here. And
Hello.
He has got that professional mic going on, and he is going to knock this out of the park. So we are very excited about this. He got the opportunity to see the new Star Wars movie. I have not. So maybe there's little things that will kind of tie in with this last episode or not. We'll see. So anyway, so this is chapter 8. This is the redemption. So here we go. So we got the episode starts out here. We've got the scout troopers. They are racing back to Navarro. They got Baby Yoda with them. And so they go and I guess they kind of park just outside of Navarro, and they're checking in with the base camp and seeing what's going on. And while that's going on, they're kind of both these scout troopers are kind of going back and forth with some little comedic banner, kind of talking back and forth. And and they kind of slap Baby Yoda around too, which was kind of disturbing. I think that's going to upset a lot of people that Baby Yoda is getting punched a little bit. But IG-11 shows up, and he's not having any of that. So he goes in and he kind of kicks both those scout troopers' butts, and he gets a hold of Baby Yoda. So what's your so when you got this episode kicked off, how are you feeling with that?
Well, it was interesting when they left off, because it left us with questions about, is Queel dead? Is Baby Yoda going to force push this guy off his bike? That kind of thing. So this gives us an immediate answer to what happened to him. They just shove him in a messenger bag and, like a hipster on a bicycle, take him back to the base.
Yeah.
And then I found people are going to hate it, but the comedy in Star Wars is killing me. And maybe I'm just old and, get off my lawn. But the humor to me felt very out of place. Mm-hmm. Like normally when we see stormtroopers, we see speeder, scouts, and we get maybe 2-3 words out of them. Yes, sir. We're going here. The boss said do this. They just kind of follow orders.
Right.
And they're showing us a little bit more of their human side, I guess, because they're just guys with jobs, and it's being an infantryman out there bored in the middle of nowhere. But for me, it seems forced and it seems silly. Like, I don't know if you ever watched Red versus Blue. It was an old cartoon deal based on the Halo series, and they used actual Halo gameplay. The guys were doing multiplayer, and it was red team versus the blue team, and they made up episodes, and they just sat around talking about random crap, and it was a total flashback to that for me. Mm-hmm. But it kind of felt hokey, and like, why was it necessary to abuse Baby Yoda?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, The thing is, and this is coming from me. I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy, but I do like it. But so to me, my understanding was these were clones, right? And like you said, they're put on this universe to be cannon fodder. Is essentially what they were. So now all of a sudden they've got personalities, and they've got families back at home, and they've got all this, paying bills. They got these emotions and these things going on. And I guess with the I guess it was episode 7, the newest of the last 3. Now you've got Finn now, who was a stormtrooper. Now all of a sudden he's a regular dude like all of us. So I guess they're trying to make these guys more like that. That they're just a regular Joe that's got a uniform on, and they're just trying to get day to day and striving toward retirement or some shit like that. So yeah. I get what you mean by. And
in the new movie, they kind of touch on that too, because Finn is, defected stormtrooper, and then they actually, major spoiler alert, just in case anybody wants to turn it off now. They meet up with a rogue group of warfighters, and he has a touching moment with the girl that's also a stormtrooper who decided to quit and leave and run off. And it seems to be that might be kind of a tie into this new movie that you're making sense when you say that it's a new world basically for them. Mm-hmm. They're no longer just clones built to fight like robots. They're people that have jobs and whatnot. But then then my question is, they go home and take off the Imperial thing, and cook dinner and hang out with the wife and pat the baby troopers and like, where's that? I want to see some of that.
Yeah,
let's get into this.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, so moving on here. So we got we're going back to the show, sir. We got them all back. Our little group is in the cantina, and they're pinned down by Moff Gideon, and so there's some conversation going back and forth, and now we learn that the Mandalorian actually has a name. His name is Din Djarin, and so that's the big we got a name. We don't have a face yet, but we got a name. So as they're conversing, our group decides they're going to try to escape through the sewers. But man, that sewer grate that is made out of the most toughest metal on the whole universe. They cannot bust through that stuff. And so while that's going on, Moff Gideon decides he's going to break out the big guns. And so he's got the big E-Web, which is an interesting name, this big giant, machine gun blaster thing going on. And so Gideon decides that he's going to give the group until nightfall to make their decision whether they're going to surrender or they're going to suffer the wrath of the E-Web.
Right.
So what are your any comments?
It's a very episode 4 standoff. We're hiding. We need to get out of here. Leia just grabs the blaster, shoots out the grate. They jump into the sewer. But apparently blasters are weak as shit now, and they don't blow up Beskar steel grates.
Yeah.
So that was kind of killing me. But yeah, I get it. The E-Web setup. When are movies going to stop doing this? Right. So they always talk about James Bond, right? Bad guys dialoguing. Like, you got caught dialoguing, and James Bond, used a coin and flipped it up his butt and then farted, and it dislodged the laser and saved him.
Right.
And it's like, dude, we got this gun. It's going to bring down the entire building. We could do it now, but I'm going to wait till dark.
Right.
Because I got dinner plans, and it's feel like a bang. And, I don't feel like doing it right now. Right. And then turns his back and takes off. Like, when are the bad guys just going to set it up, jack this place up, and then move on?
Right.
Like, it's killing me. It's just very stereotypical.
Well, it also goes back to we talked about how the Mandalorian kind of reminded us of Westerns, and you kind of have that too, where we're going to wait till sundown and get you, kind of thing. And so
like fire.
Yeah, so we got a lot of that. So now the group is trapped. They've got this big E-Web pointing at them. They don't know what to do, and they're kind of I guess they're a little confused with is this Moff Gideon who he says he is, and the Mando says, this is this dude, because he's the only one that knows his name. He hasn't heard that name spoken since he was a wee child, and so now you go back and we do a little flashback, and we've got the story of how his family and his whole community was killed by these battle droids, and so his parents stash him away, and they get killed, and so the town, the Mandalorians, they swoop in with their jetpacks, and they go in and they start blasting these battle droids, and they save baby Mandalorian, and so you get that little bit of story, and then it goes back to the present, and so you've got Mando. He's trying to get a hold of Quill, but IG gets on the comm and says, "Hey, Quill's dead," but he's got the baby Yoda, and he's heading their way. And so once IG arrives, he gets into Terminator mode, and he starts just taking out stormtroopers left and right, and that gives Cara and Karga and Mando the opportunity to jump in the firefight and then start going. And so Mando, he gets his Rambo on, and he gets that E-Web, and he starts boom, 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 boom. He starts taking people out like crazy. And but as he's doing that, the Moff Gideon, he gets there, he gets close enough, and he takes out that power supply, and it causes a big explosion, via Michael Bay. We had to hire him to come in and give us some explosions. So what's your feelings about this up to this point?
I liked it. The whole show to me is starting to feel, it's very cliche. There's a lot of the same kind of recycled stuff that we get. It's funny. The stormtroopers come in, they set up like the tripod, and they, set it up, they screw it in, they bolt it in. I mean, it's heavy and it needs to be on a tripod. And then he comes out and just lifts that bad boy off like it's the M60 on the chopper. You made a great Rambo reference. It's awesome. And just wields it like it's nothing.
Right.
The thing that kind of bugs me about this scene is they kind of gloss over his history.
Yeah.
You know, we keep seeing the same flashback of robots killing everything, and then they jam him in the cellar, and you know, the tornado comes and wipes everybody out, and then he comes out and he's looking around like, what's going on? They've added in now that the Mandalorians, you know, are there. But I think this show is suffering from time. You know, you're doing a half-hour episode, so they're putting a lot into explosions and gunfights and things like that, but the story is kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
And you know, they covered all of that, what you just went over, in what, minute and a half, 2 minutes. Like, it wasn't a very long scene,
right?
And this is what's supposed to be driving him. You know, this is his motivation, this is his background, this is the whole show is about this guy, and they just gloss over everything that this guy's doing.
Well, yeah, and not to get too nerdy about it, I guess, but the thing is that typically with TV shows, and a drama like this action show is typically an hour-long show, and your comedies are usually the 30-minute little sitcom kind of things. And so I'm really kind of I'm like you. I'm a little disappointed they didn't take that opportunity to stretch these out and give us a little more meat on Kara, on the Karga, you know, whatever his name is, him, and the Mandalorian, and even Baby Yoda. Give us a little something, even just little teasers, like showing him, you know, some kind of past. I don't know, you know. So, and I agree. It's a little disappointing how they shortchanged the audience a little bit. But
and do you think it's a byproduct of having different directors and potentially different writers? Because it's Favreau and Filoni are both writing these, so there's some continuity there. And Filoni's done, you know, a lot of writing with the animated series, and he's very familiar with the universe, and he's created a lot of stuff that's now canon. But do you think that it's the different directors and, you know, having the different visions that are causing these episodes to feel so disconnected?
No, only because if you watch other Netflix series, say for instance, gosh, I just had it in my head that political one, the big political one they had on Netflix, and I'm totally drawing a freaking blank. But the point is that they had different directors for each episode, and they were still an hour-long episode.
Were those episodes continuous? Like, was it a one continuous story?
Yes. It was. It wasn't. These weren't standalones. These were continuous. You know, you picked up from the last one and you went on.
Because the way I'm looking at it is, like, if you watched episode 1, maybe 2, and then you came back and just watched 7 and 8, I think you'd understand what's going on in this series. Like the middle 3 or 4 episodes, they're all standalone capers. You know, it's kind of like the Star Wars movie when they went to the casino planet. Yeah, that kind of gives you some insight into character, and it shows you a new world. And you know, now you're putting out a political view with greed and corruption being bad, and you know, your PETA moment with the animals being mistreated. But it didn't really go. It wasn't necessary. You could have clipped that out, and the movie would have gone forward just as well. And so that's what I was wondering is, you know, are we not getting a whole lot of this story? You know, because these directors are kind of going in different directions and you know, not touching on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, and that could be part of it. I just don't think they're using their time well, ultimately for me. So, but anyway, so back to our show. So we got with this big explosion, we end up with a injured Mando. And so Cara Dune runs out and she drags him back to safety. And so while that's going on, you know, the IG, he uses his super robot powers, and he's able to cut that gate open. And so as they're going to get ready to get out of there, here comes this flame trooper, which I love. They all are color coordinated. If you're dealing with fire, you got a little bit of red in your uniform, which is kind of cool. So anyway, he burst in there and he's got the big flamethrower, and he's going to blast all them. And so that causes Baby Yoda to use Baby Yoda powers and push those flames back onto the flame trooper, and we get another big explosion with that, you know. So that was kind of cool. So you got the injured Mando and IG, they're going to stay behind, and they give Kara and Karga Baby Yoda, and so they're going to take off. And so IG he begins his medical treatment on Mando, and he insisted he's got to take this helmet off in order to treat this head injury, right? So this is where the Mandalorian, he's going to allow the IG to remove his helmet, and underneath we get Pedro Pascal in all his glory. There he is, all bloody and torn up. And so the IG, he starts his little treatment. He sprays some crap on his head, and so that's going to heal the Mandalorian. And so he's able to get up, and they get back into the sewer, and they go catch up with the rest of the group. And so as they're going down, they come upon this big mound of Mandalorian armor. And so
very creepy.
Weird. And then we also have a recurring character with the armor, the big armor, well, the female armor comes out and greets them. So that big pile of armor, what did you think about that? I didn't really get that.
That was a reference I'm not too sure of. Is that all of the guys that came to save the day and they all got lit up by Moff Gideon after the fact? It was a reprisal. It's like one of those, they came out and they helped, and, now you get to pay. And why didn't the armor get smoked?
Yeah.
Was she hiding? Is she in the guild and the armorer's guild, and she's got protection from Hava?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that.
Did they take off everything but the jetpack and then fly off naked with the jetpack on them and leave the armor behind? I mean, I didn't.
To make everybody think they died,
I guess, but now she kind of takes it and she's melting it down and making stuff out of it. I don't know that was just kind of a weird I didn't get that, but whatever.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be deep and meaningful, and I'm not 100% sure I got it. But the interesting thing that I saw was IG was trying to get his helmet off. And I thought this was a code. Like, we don't take this shit off. Now he's taking it off in a window in front of 10 kids. Mm-hmm. He let a droid take it off because in the code, I guess it's written that only people are allowed to see his face. But since he's a sentient robot, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Then how did he get all these injuries? Isn't that armor supposed to be amazing? Like, his skull was cracked and they used the Bacta spray,
right,
which is the same stuff that they hooked up Luke with when he was in the big tank. It's a it's a healing type deal. So I don't know. This guy goes from having a code to like being about the money, and then giving up the money to be about Yoda, and now I have morals, and the next episode we're just going to go kill everybody I've ever known because they tried to kill me. Like, it's all over the place with his motivation. That's why I wish this was longer, and we could do a little bit more showing us what's going on instead of just taking time to tell us.
Right.
I mean, it's when you're looking at a guy on screen and he tells you what just happened to a character instead of showing it, you're missing the point of TV and movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that his code now has an amendment. It's a lot like Quill knowing what the charter said. The new Rebel Resistance, the New Republic charter said that he got to claim they made a reference, like he just had a copy of the charter sitting in the closet and he read through it, and now he gets to claim the blurgs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're doing now. It's like, I've got a code, but cracked skull, I guess that takes precedence.
Yeah.
And how do we know there wasn't anybody else watching him? There were people all over that place.
Yeah, I don't know.
Take it off in the middle of town.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's unanswered. But so now we got our group. They're hanging out with the armor, and so she starts telling the Mandalorian about the animosity between the Mandalorians and the Jedi, and then she says, "Hey, now you're going to be in charge of Baby Yoda because this is the way. This is how you're going to do things." So, the Mandalorian, he's not too happy about it, but he's going to do it. And so, his little door prize is that he gets the little mudhorn signet slapped on him. And what else does he get? He gets the jetpack. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Jetpack. Yeah, but, she doesn't sign off on any training records with it. She just says, here you go, buddy. Here's a jetpack. Have fun. Right? So he's got jetpack. He's got the Mudhorn. And now the group is going to take off. But as they take off, some stormtroopers show up. And so now you get to see why the Empire sucks and how they get their butt kicked, because she just freaking takes them out like no problem, with her tools, and she just kicks the shit out of them. And so our group gets to go away, or gets to escape. So
yeah. I've never understood whenever it's like 6-on-1 in a movie or a show, why the other 5 guys stand and watch while one guy gets his ass kicked, and then number 2 dives in, and the other 4 are just sitting there like, all right, I guess are you next? I'm next. No, you're next. Like, why are all 6 of them not kicking the crap out of this lady?
Right.
Who just has a forging hammer and a pickaxe or something. Like, it's just very strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like how he doesn't get any training. Like, this guy, as we'll see, he's obviously very skilled with it.
Yeah.
So he must be doing some black market jetpack training.
Yeah.
Without people knowing.
Yeah. So our group, they're able to get out of there, and then they find this big lava gondola looking thing operated by this crazy looking R2 unit, with the giant arms and legs going on, and so they're able to escape on that and go, and they're about to get to a moment of safety, and all of a sudden the Mandalorian sees with his little X-ray vision there's a group of stormtroopers ready to ambush him. So there's no way they're going to be able to get out of this. They've got to face these guys. But here's where he becomes the hero of the day, and he jumps out and he trogs through that lava, and he gets up there and he activates his self-destruction mode, and boom, explodes, and he takes out all those stormtroopers. So they're able to get past all that. But as soon as they get past all that, here comes Moff Gideon with his little TIE fighter, and he starts trying to take them out with that. So he's flying around, but the Mandalorian says, training be damned. I'm going to put on the jetpack and I'm going to take on this TIE fighter. So he takes off. He gets up there and he's able to use one of those little detonators, slaps it on the wing of the TIE fighter and blows it off, and causes the TIE fighter to crash. So that was pretty exciting. That was pretty good stuff there.
It was. I enjoyed it. The action in this is pretty good. I like it. Is that the first time we've seen his X-ray heat vision, the thermal?
I think so. We saw him use it. He could see off in the distance far away, right? He was able to see the sand people far away, and
without using binoculars and whatnot. I think it's pretty cool to see, that they have different abilities. I like that, that he could fire it up. It's the gondola and the robots, man. This lava must be like mild salsa lava, because that robot walked through that like it was nothing. I would have thought IG would have had melted legs and he was just done.
Yeah.
And that boat's got to be made out of some good stuff.
Yeah.
But R2 with long legs is not sexy. I just had to put that out there. That was weird, and it was creepy, and it was not sexy at all.
Yeah. But, trying to do the whole river stick shit with that stuff. I didn't.
Yeah. I got a little bit of a Greek mythology feel when I saw it. I was waiting for him to break out a coin and hand it to him.
Right, flipping 2 coins, Yeah. That was again, just some weird moments, but we'll take that, I guess,
Yeah.
So now you got the TIE fighter, it's down and kind of crashed off in the distance. Well, there's some business to take care of, and so Karga, he's like, hey, Mando, I wouldn't mind if you came back to work, and the Mandalorian's like, no, dude, I got to take care of this baby Yoda. I got to figure out what's going on with this little dude. But, Kara, she's like, hey, I need a job, dude. As long as you can take care of my my records and get my green card going on, I'm good to go. So he's like, all right, no problem. So the next scene, you got the down TIE fighter, and I swear it's like flies on shit. You got freaking Jawas already taking that shit apart. It's like, how the hell do they know that there's wreckage? But anyway, so as they're trying to take this stuff apart, all of a sudden you see that dark saber blast through there and cut open the hull and pop that open, and out comes Moff Gideon. He's good to go. He's mad. He's got his dark saber, and we're going to end the season with that scene right there. So
Yeah.
So that's so we've got some, we got like I said, I kind of think I said it a couple episodes ago that I thought he was probably a Sith because there had to be some kind of balance going on here. So right, because if he's got that saber, that means he's a Sith, maybe, right?
Potentially, it could be. From what I've heard, I haven't watched the animated series, but the dark saber is significant in that apparently whoever wields it is the true leader of the Mandalorians. And it actually changes hands a couple of times in the animated series. I think Darth Maul ends up getting it at one point. And people are, it's that whole, if you kill the leader, Chronicles of Riddick, if you kill the leader, you become the leader.
Right.
And so I think there's going to be significance. I guarantee Star Wars nerds were losing their shit. So it'll be interesting how they interweave the stories to include that. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Okay.
I'm still coin toss, man. I could either give this up and feel like I haven't lost a whole lot of my life, but I'm also excited for another season of it and see where they go. I'm in a weird place with this show because I do like the Star Wars universe. It's kind of like the new movies. Mm-hmm. They're doing some Star Wars-y things, but I don't know. I like how the blacksmith told him that now he needs to be in charge of Yoda. That's his thing. And I was like, bitch, what has he been doing for 8 episodes? Right. As soon as he got Yoda, that's all he's been doing.
And he could have definitely looked at her and been like, really?
Yeah.
I didn't think of that, But.
Yeah. But I tell you, one thing that I'm thinking is I've read some reviews. There's some extremely glowing reviews of this episode and the last, just because we're kicking up in action and we're moving forward a little bit more. And then there's some people that are just ripping it apart. And personally, I wonder if they took away all the Star Wars, you strip away Mandalorian, you take away lightsabers, blasters, all of that stuff, and we do this show as just a straight Western, who's going to watch it?
Yes. Right.
I feel like this is one of those that it's riding on its name. It's like you've told me, I think in the past, I believe it was you that said, some actors have to do the shit movie so they can do the movie they want, or they have to go, do the big budget project so they can do their independent student film.
Right.
And it kind of feels like that. These guys just have, a blank check to do whatever they want to do because it's Star Wars. Right. And if it was called, The Lonely Wanderer, and it was a guy in chaps just doing this and riding, imagine if he was on a horse and he rode to San Francisco and then back to Denver and then he went to San Antonio and then he went back to San Francisco. People are going, why is this guy riding all over the place? Yeah. What is this?
Right.
So I don't know.
You'd have Clint Eastwood, High Plains Drifter kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
and there's plenty of movies that are like that. Don't get me wrong, but what's irritating, I think, to a lot of people is that they're not really moving forward very quickly. And I look at it as kind of MMO. This is like the World of Warcraft of TV. It moves forward. Like in World of Warcraft, hey, you're going to get this awesome weapon, but you got to do 43 quests in a row to do it, and you can only do 1 quest a day. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, okay, cool, I'm going to have this awesome thing, but now I got to put 43 days worth of grinding into it.
Yeah.
And that what happens after 30 days? Your subscription renews. And so it's like Disney Plus put this on here. They're like, let's just give them an eyedropper, bloop, and we'll give them a drop a week.
Yeah.
These nerds are going to pay $7 a month for this. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, that's interesting. You saying that they're using the name Star Wars in order to do this, but on the flip side, I think we've said several times that they could have used those opportunities, the show at least, to really build a lot of different areas up and give us a lot more meat, a lot more opportunities for people wanting to have these spinoffs of different things, maybe, or I don't know. It's just, are they just dragging their butt on this one and then next season is going to be amazing? I mean, who knows? I don't know.
Well, and when you started out watching Walking Dead, was it immediately a cult hit, or Game of Thrones? Those first seasons, they're decent, but they also move the characters forward in that first season, and you care about coming back next week. Mm-hmm. And with this, we could probably have called every single week. He's going to go to a new bar. He's going to pick up a contract. Baby Yoda's going to save his ass once an episode. Like, take Baby Yoda out of this. How many people are watching it?
That's what's driving. To me, that's what's driving them. It is.
It's like a 40-minute Baby Yoda commercial.
Yeah.
And they're going to sell the shit out of toys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right. That is their hook.
Yeah.
And every show is Baby Yoda. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
and I saw an interesting meme that was it had someone dragging something, and it was basically the Mandalorian, and it was dragging a wagon full of stuff, and it said Disney Plus, and it's legit for a lot of people. I think I've seen a lot of comments where people are ready to just get rid of Disney Plus because this isn't going anywhere. It doesn't fit their expectations. So a lot of people are getting rid of it. Like I've said before, I've got kids, and some of my favorite movies are Disney classics and whatnot. So I'm glad we have it. This is kind of a bonus to get to watch it, but I'm wondering how much viewership has dropped off since the beginning. I haven't looked at any kind of statistics or, any articles about it, but I wonder if they've lost any viewers or if everybody is, I consider Big Will's the ultimate fanboy. Like they could put crap on a plate, and as long as it said Star Wars, he'd eat it.
Yeah.
And, I just wonder how many of those guys are out there, because I felt like I was that guy. And now I'm just kind of ho-hum about it. It's cool and get to see some cool new things. But it really, from episode 1, how far have we moved? Like, what's the story?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah. I still don't know anything about Baby Yoda and really, or if any of the characters really.
Right.
You just getting little bites. So yeah, I don't.
And then they're killing him. Like, Quill's dead. We got a bit of his teaching the robot nanny stuff, and then now the robot's dead.
Right. Yeah.
So every potential that they had kind of goes away.
Yeah. Well,
it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that wraps up season 1 of The Mandalorian, and so I don't know if there's a timeline for the next season, if that's come out yet, or I haven't seen anything. So hopefully it's not too long. Hopefully they've been filming all this, and we can get that out there. And so, but I do want to thank everybody for checking us out and watching this. And but we'll be back with some other things. We got some other plans going on, and so we'll definitely anyway, I just want to thank everyone for watching, and I want to thank Adam for being on here. And so be sure to like and share, and so we will see you guys